We're all broken pieces of the same design, but your grace redeemed us. Your spirit lives inside. We are a generation to rise up and make you known to every tribe, every tongue, every nation. We will go. We can be world changers. We can be world changers. If we love like you do and stand for the truth, we'll see your light break through. We can be world changers. How could we be silent when we know the one who saves? We won't keep it quiet, 'cause your spirit makes us brave. We are a generation to rise up and make you known to every tribe, every tongue, every nation. We will go. We can be world changers. We can be world changers. If we love like you do and stand for the truth, we'll see your light break through. We can be world changers. Someday every knee will bow, your name will be on every mouth. But until that trumpet sounds, we will go. Someday every knee will bow, your name will be on every mouth. But until that trumpet sounds, we can be world changers. We can be world changers. If we love like you do and stand for the truth, we'll see your light break through. We can be world changers. 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 We can be world changers.
All right, if we could get the team that went to Arizona to come on up. And while they're coming up, I'll do my little part about this trip. First of all, I want to thank everyone at this church who gives at one point or another, because it's because of your offering that a lot of us are able to go. We don't believe around here. We do our best to try and get everyone to serve, and because of your giving, we budget for these trips, and each member had to bring some of their own along the way, but you guys are the ones that sent us. Even one that came from Welling Baptist Church, that's coming from our church sending him. And I can tell you from Brandon's perspective, it was a huge help and a huge success. He was able to make some contacts and get some inroads, even though we were talking, and he's going into year 4 of this church plant. We have been supporting him for 4 years in this ministry, and he is in the most difficult spot in Tucson area to try and plant a church. I'll let the other guys talk a little bit. I don't want to steal all their thunder, but I've been to Guatemala, and I can tell you, I was telling them, Tucson seemed to remind me of Guatemala. A lot of communities with cinder block walls or stucco walls, and it's almost like their own little community inside of that. They have their own playground, but they have to leave that to do anything. In the area he's at, there is no church for what, mile and a half in any direction? There's none in the school district we know, but I think even like a mile and a half apart from a little Pentecostal church that's in what you would call the worst of the worst neighborhoods, there's no churches. So he is planning in a very, very difficult mission field. All right, I'm going to give him a chance to speak, except for Kelsey. She said she didn't want to talk. So we'll start over here with Tristan and give him the most stuff. You're welcome. You're welcome. Just say thank you.
I don't know what to talk about. I'll give you a question.
We'll talk about you then.
It was good.
Talk about all the bathrooms you saw.
I'm gonna let Jay. I'll wrap it up.
She'll wrap it. Well, again, I want to say thank you for sending us to Tucson. This was the first time that I went on a mission trip, and I know Jordan will talk about her games. So I just kind of want to talk a little bit personal stuff. I signed up, and then I thought, what have I done? I don't want to be a burden to this group. Well, thankfully, all these young people, including Pastor, because he's young to me, was very good to me. Jordan always ordered my food for me on the kiosk. She showed me how to weigh fruit at a scale. She at the Walmart self-checkout, she showed me how to use the key for the motel, because all that stuff's been my granddaughter's job. We have become a family. We learned a lot about each other. When I signed up, I didn't know we were going to take a small hike up a mountain. So about 3/4 the way up, I sat down on a rock, and then going down, Pastor Scott stood in front of me where I would not roll down the mountain. There was love with us, and I think the kids that we saw, because I believe the staff there said that they related to us better than anybody that has come in, or even to them, and because we came with the love of Christ. So again, thank you so much. You are, we live in the Bible Belt. Be thankful for that, because one of the young ladies, Hannah, told me that God really isn't welcome in Little Town. And Scott said this is one of the most difficult places to bring God in. But our church family here, I think we brought the love of God into that community. Miss Kelsey was busy taking pictures. She did not, over 1,100 pictures? Mm-hmm. She did not want to waste any precious moment. Tristan, I'm going to talk about you a minute, okay? This young man, it's hard enough to give your testimony in front of those that you know that love you, but giving it to strangers. And I was almost in tears when he gave up and gave his testimony on youth night. And he did it with conviction. So again, church family, these young people, they're going to share the love of Christ, and we need to be thankful for them.
Kelsey, are you sure you don't want to say anything?
Kelsey's not going to talk.
I'm just, if she doesn't cover everything.
I'm wrapping it up, so you.
Well, I don't know give me a question, guys. Okay.
What was your favorite part?
Favorite bathroom?
Oh, God, we're kidding.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know.
Favorite part?
My favorite part was probably. So the leader of the church that we went and helped, his name was Brandon, but I didn't ever catch his name. So when we went to go eat, I said that I think I'm Brad's favorite, and his name is Brandon. And so that was a joke for the rest of the trip. And we eventually got his name to just be Brad, and we just called him Brad. So that was a fun part. My favorite part was probably just seeing the happiness on the kids' faces, because when you drive around a neighborhood, especially the neighborhood of Little Town, you see like houses that are like not very good houses, and to see the kids come out of that and then be so happy is like probably my favorite part, is just seeing them be happy. Any other questions? Okay, here you go.
Goodness. So I am a planner through and through, and this trip was not at all planned. I went into it with a just go with the flow attitude. And so every time Kelsey would ask me a question about what we're doing or whatever, I'd start to freak out a little bit more because I wouldn't have an answer. And even so much so that I'm a planner as far as trying to think of what to say beforehand. And my mind has been blank since we got back Friday night. That's how in awe I am, I guess, of this trip. I've been on a handful of mission trips. This is not my first. But this one was different. Janet talked about Tristan giving his testimony, and I, like a good youth leader, Adam, wherever you are, like a good youth leader, I made him get up and share, because that's how I am. They wanted a couple people, and so I just said, Tristan, you're going to share, whether you like it or not. And so that started off the trip because that was Sunday night. So that started off the trip just as on a high point. They only had 5 kids that came to that youth meeting, but all 5 of those girls were so engaged. Today's society with cell phones, those 5 girls never once picked up their cell phone the whole time we were there, and I was like blown away. So that started it off, and then just to, have the kids every day that, like Tristan said, came in and were so excited. And to me, in my teacher mind, were not acting the greatest. And then Brandon said that they acted better for us than they did for all of the people that work at that community center. So I was like, one, I can only imagine how they act for them. And 2, that's an incredible testament of the love of God. How you can share the love of God with someone and then it changes their whole attitude, even in a kid. We went into this knowing that we couldn't really, well, not really, we couldn't say Jesus, we couldn't mention the Bible. And so that was, we were curious how that was going to work. And so the first night I told the story of David and Goliath without saying it was in the Bible. And I started off talking about a giant, and one of the kids was like, yeah, Goliath. And I was like, yes, that's his name. Good job. And so I go through it all. The next night I'm telling the story of King Solomon whenever he goes to almost cut the baby in half. And I'm going through it, and one of the kids was like, is this a real story? And I said, yes, this is a real story. The same kid that said Goliath the night before was like, yeah, it's in the Bible. And so then I paused, and I'm like, wait, say that again. Where is it? And he said it louder, and I was like, yes, there. And so the kids are like, well, I've never read that book. And he's like, you should read it. It's awesome. It's full of great stories. And I'm like, you just keep talking, man. Like, you just do it all. Which, side note here, because it made me laugh, one of the other kids was like, oh, I only read the Holy Bible. And I was like, same thing, man, but good job. I'm glad. So the fact that, these kids were like, I've never even heard of the Bible. Those kids are that, like, churches are so needed in that area. The kids don't even know what the Bible is. Around here, you can go to about anybody, and they may not go to church. They may never have even stepped foot in a church, but they probably know what the Bible is. Even to your little kids. These kids had no idea what the Bible was. And so it was incredible to, one, be able to go in there and share, but it was so eye-opening as to how much, how good we have it here. With that said, Brad has already asked for our church to come back. The last night that we kind of did our wrap-up, he was like, I want you guys back. And he wants to do a full week, and he wants to rent someplace out so that we can share the gospel, so that we don't have to, just act like we're not. And so, 1, pray about that, just as far as how that process is going to go. But 2, I encourage you, pray about if you're supposed to go. Scott made mention this week at one point that this is probably the easiest mission trip you could go on. And it really is. We really didn't, we did stuff. We went and put door hangers on. We played with the kids, we kind of walked around the community. Folded VBS stuff. All those little pool noodles were turned into a whole bunch of little crabs. Like, we did stuff. But as far as, physical exertion, this was not hard. And I know going back it would be about the same. I don't think she does, other than climbing the mountain. It wasn't hard. That and her bowling. We took her bowling for the first time. And so I really do ask you to pray about if you're supposed to go. Because as far as camp stuff goes, I really handle that. You're just kind of crowd control, and you get to play with the kids and love on the kids. So I encourage you to pray about if that's what you're supposed to do moving forward, because I promise you, you will not regret it.
All right. Nope, you're good. Kelsey, you sure? She wants everyone to know that she beat Jordan at bowling after Jordan gave her a couple. Those who can't teach, right? She said it was a great trip. She appreciated it. So maybe she can take the video back to Welling and encourage. That's where she goes, is Welling Baptist. But we're thankful they loaned her to us because it really was a good team. All right, you guys can go sit down.